Outcasts in the game, watch me flip, watch me soar. Power of the MCC, let's settle, restore. No limits on my drive, each flip is a thrill. Every wheelie I perform just shows you the skill. From the ground to the sky, I'm defying the doubt. Fortified like my ride, I'll never back out. Every twist, every turn, I'm breaking the mold. With the rap in my veins, watch the story unfold. Outcasts, we ride, feeling bold and alive. No limits up high, this is how we thrive.
All right, guys, we have made it out with the OUTCAST 4S that is on 6S. This time I tried to do a proper build here. So we've got all the M2C upgrades plus some nice new Proline tires and a new castle system. Of course, I'll go over all that at the end of the video. But this is the maiden voyage, so let's see what she's got. Woo! Let's go, baby. Holy moly, those things balloon like crazy. Woo! Oh, look at the body, dude. What the hell? Okay. Oh, that's called shaving the ramp. Really bad. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, that was so bad. I had no control over anything just now. The on and off switch did off itself. Oh my god, there goes a tire. How long this lasts? There we go. I made it, kind of. I figured I'd go right for the front flip, and if it doesn't make it, then our day is over. I didn't land it. Nice. Nice. Ah, little wheelie. Let's go, baby. Oh. Oh, oh. See? Damn thing starts wheeling before I can get to full speed. Oh my god, this body is, oh, it's under. Hold on. Wow, how the hell did it manage to do that? I can't even get that off of there now. You know what? I'm gonna ride like that, bro. That's too much effort. Let's go, baby. Oh boy. Uh-oh. 2 failures at once. Center diff, I think, just took a dump, and my shock just came off of the, so, oh, it's the plastic part of it. Haha. It likes to wheelie, that's for sure. Man, that M2C suspension, I'm telling you, it works. Oh no, damn it, turtle. Woo. Jesus Christ. All right, I get it now, I think. You just can't smash the throttle coming right off the face of the ramp, because this thing will just start freaking backflipping and getting all crazy. There we go. Ah, this clip came off. Jesus Christ. This is why I don't bother with bodies, man. They're such a pain. I hope that's all that happened. Yes. And you know what? This can just... Here, that thing's done too, anyway. Why don't I have throttle now? Get out of the freaking ant pile. Okay, now I have throttle. I don't. Oh, I did it. Oh, I did it. Oh, I did it with the same thing, dude. Thought I'd just dig this away now. Right? Dude. Woo. Damn it. It's kind of day I'm having, dude. It's just kind of day I'm having. Broken. Damn it, turtle. Totally. The only thing about the park that sucks is the underside and, well, the whole car really gets completely like drenched in dirt and grass and grime. Oh. Oh my God. Okay. We done? Yeah, I hit that spot again. It's good for slow-mos. Get that dirt flying, but finally I hit the good transition spot. Woo. Nice. That was a decent hit too. Nice little fronty there. Although, like, it was pointing right at me, so I almost couldn't even tell where the rotation was. Oh, oh. Oh. I'm not even gonna try to right this thing up because those tires are so prone to popping off, dude. Come on, man. What's wrong with it now? Is it overheating or something? I don't know. I don't know what that was about. Oh, I did it again. I did it again. Completely missed the ramp. I mean, I guess it's still better, like I said before, to completely miss it than to shave it, because this thing isn't heavy enough for it to be like getting hot and whatever it's doing. There we go. There's a nice little lip I can hit. Lip I can hit. Oh, turtle. Yeah. Nice. Ah, that was retarded. Let's go. Joe, it's so easy to wheelie this thing. Wow, why did it go so far? That's crazy. What the hell? Nice, nice. Oh, I almost landed that. Damn it. There's a little lip there that kicks you straight up. I'll tell you what though, man, all this plastic fantastic allows you to land in some really bad ways and it doesn't break as easy. Like that. Woo. That was a decent one. Got to the 125 mark or something like that. Or 100, I think. Nice little front flip there. Didn't even mean to do that, kind of. I mean, I did mean to do it, but it was nose diving, so I figured, screw it. Finish the front flip. Woo! Oh, that was like a slow. Instead of a delay, early front flip, it was a delayed front flip. I slowly rotated the car around. Woo! Woo! That was an awesome front flip, dude. I had no idea where I was at. Oh my God. And on a oh, hold on though. We gotta abort mission real quick here because yeah, haul ass, look at the battery. Real bad. Like real bad. All right, guys, we are back with the OUTCAST 4S on 6S. That was an awesome session. But more importantly, this whole session was actually inspired by M2C. They gave me a part to try out, which was the Servo Saver Eliminator, which I have been posting shorts and stuff. People have been asking, so this is it. So I'll get straight to it. And so here is the servo. This is I don't even know what brand this is. I think it's like BETU or something like that. It's an Amazon special. But here's the part, guys. The part is there. That's the Servo Saver Eliminator. As you see, basically that's what it's called, is what it does. Essentially, you get rid of the Servo Saver and you just hard mount the servo to your servo link. Now, when I initially installed it, the Servo Saver at the bottom here, where it goes into the servo itself, it was too long, and I had to I used a Dremel and kind of shaved down the part a little bit to get it to, because when I was bolting it down, it would rub against the case of the servo. So for that reason and a few others, Avery at M2C decided, you know, he needs to redo the whole part, you know, which makes sense. You can't sell it to people and then they install it and it rubs against the servo, obviously. So the part is in revision. I'm not even sure if he's even going to put this part out. But I had already made the video. I had already got the bash session in. I already got the approval from him to go ahead and put the video out. So I wanted to put the video out anyway and kind of prove the point, because even though the part itself wasn't machined exactly right, I still, I think, proved that eliminating the servo saver can work on the lighter weight cars. And I think Avery's idea, his whole concept was that the car is not heavy enough that it's going to really matter, or In other words, the car doesn't weigh enough that a servo saver is absolutely mandatory for the sake of saving the servo, you know? That's why it's called a servo saver. So I did run this 3 batteries worth. What you guys saw in the video was basically 2 batteries worth at the ramp, which is, you know, the big sends, and then 1 battery's worth at the park. So you've got 3 batteries worth, and I never had any issues with my servo. And I purposely bought, actually I didn't even buy it. This is a spare servo I had just laying in my spare box bins. And it's not anything special. This is like, I think it's like I said, I think it's BETU is the brand, but it's an Amazon special. It's not like my other cars have a Perfect Pass servo. So those servos are, you know, $120 servos. This is like a $40 servo on Amazon. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to show like what would be the point of saying a servo saver eliminator works if you're buying, you know, the strongest servo you can possibly get for, you know, this style of car. That wouldn't really prove anything, you know? So I purposely just grabbed an old spare Amazon special servo that was in the drawer. I put it on here, put the servo saver eliminator on. Obviously had to modify it a little bit. I even have a hard link. I have the Hot Racing link that's for this car. So that's basically, and I also have the Hot Racing rack, steering rack for this car. So I don't know if you can see it. Let me see. I don't know if you can see it there, or maybe I can turn the wheel. But yeah, I have the Hot Racing rack in here that's metal. So I have a servo saver eliminator connected to a metal servo link connected to a aluminum metal steering rack that's connected to the plastic toe links in the front. So it's pretty much hard mounted all the way up until the toe links, and the servo still didn't go out. And you know, that can't guarantee the life of the servo for 10 batteries, 15 batteries, but you can't really guarantee that for a servo even if you have a servo saver. You know, the life of a servo is very, very dependent on the circumstances. You know, if you have a really bad landing, a really bad crash, something happens, that can instantly shorten the life of a servo, you know. Now obviously a servo saver has been around forever for a reason, so eliminating it isn't like reinventing the wheel. We all know that a servo saver is there for a reason. The part itself is self-explanatory, but for these cars, one of the biggest complaints is the steering response, and so this I believe is a solution. Now obviously the part isn't out, and obviously the part isn't available, so you can't get it, but I still think it's a proof of concept. I still think that I was able to prove that you can run it without a servo saver, and it'll run just fine, it'll bash just fine. I think hitting 120, 130 foot jumps and landing off those jumps and having a few crashes here and there proved that the servo saver eliminator would be a viable option to increase the performance of your steering. For this bash, I actually installed a new system. Let me turn it around. A new Castle system in it, which is Cobra 8 with a 2200 kV motor. And I have a complaint with the Cobra systems. I know there's guys out there that, so first and foremost, Cobra or Castle systems are proven. Okay, so before I say what I'm gonna say, I know that the Castle systems are proven. Okay, Castle systems have the fastest cars in the world. Okay, I know Perfect Pass runs Castle systems, and he's gone over 200 miles an hour. Okay, so I'm aware that anything I say negative about these systems is probably going to be met with a lot of criticism, but nevertheless, I'm going to give my experience. Okay, I have 3 2200 kV motors sitting in my shelf right now that are broken. Okay, in the last month and a half. In the last month and a half, my Spark motor went out, my Typhon motor went out, and a third one went out. I can't remember if it was on on this or something else, but oh no, it's 2 2200 kV motors and one 1650 kV motor. All 3 of those motors broke the same exact way. It'll act like as if you've pulled one of the motor leads off. So you pull a motor lead off, you give it throttle and it stutters, and it does that. And it's like as if one motor lead is disconnected. Well, it turns out in every situation that I've had that issue, it's been the motor that goes bad internally, okay? Then these fans on these ESCs are absolute, sorry, Castle, okay? But they're garbage, man. these things do not last one battery. You know, obviously, okay, again, obviously I've said it before, but what I'm doing is extreme bashing. I'm going 130 feet up in the air or 130 feet out, maybe 20, 30 feet up in the air, and I'm landing like a ton of bricks onto the ground. I get it. Nothing should survive that, right? But my Hobby Wing systems, and I'm not sponsored by Hobby Wing, so I'm not saying something good about Hobby Wing, something bad about Castle, because Hobby Wing gives me their ESCs and motors. I'm just giving my experience. I've had 3 fail on me in the last month and a half. And it's a little bit disappointing because from my perspective, these systems are more expensive, or actually it's not my perspective, those are the facts. You know, you could easily, so you could buy, let's say you want to run a 6S system on a car, you want to do it as you want to get the best performance with the least amount of money. Well, you get a Hobby Wing 8BL 150 ESC, and then you get you can go to Jenny's RC and buy a motor out of a 6S Team Corrali car, okay, which is $70, $60. Okay, you can go there and Jenny's RC get, whether it's out of an Asuga or a Spark or a Kagama, it doesn't matter. It's all the same motor. I believe it's like a Hobby Star motor. I think, I'm not sure, but nevertheless, 2050 kV 6S motor, plenty of power, plenty of performance, matched up with an ESC from Hobby Wing 8BL 150. Okay, you've got a great combination. It'll be durable as all it can be. And it'll last. You know, I've had that combination in an Asuga that the motor leads actually melted because I got it so hot. It was in the summer and the motor still didn't stop working. Okay, now the motor eventually stopped working because the lead melted off, but nevertheless, the motor got so hot that the lead melted, the solder melted, but the motor was still good and the ESC was still good. I fixed the connection and kept on going, you know. So whether it's a overgearing or heat issue or whatever the case is, I have dual motor fans on these motors. My Typhon and my Spark have the same setup, so I'm cooling as much as I can cool it, you know. And for whatever reason, you know, I've had 3 motors fail on me, and so I'm gonna start pretty much going with only Hobby Wing systems. Now, again, this ties into the fact that these systems are more expensive. I just think the durability should be higher for the amount of money you spend on these systems. But like I said, you know, in the world of speed running, these things are king. So I don't know. I also don't like this on and off switch that they give you, where it's like a mechanical on and off switch. It's a lot harder to figure out where to mount this than it is to figure out where to put it, the switch that like the Hobby Wings come out with, because the Hobby Wings come with the switch that's like a soft button, and those are easier to like double side tape onto the floor of the car or something like that. This, you have to actually find a way to mount it somewhere. And in the video, twice this switch actually turned off on me on a landing. There was enough G-force to actually turn the switch to the off position. So I don't know. And then I had issues. So before I install these, I always update the software. Okay, so I have a little USB-C connector that goes to my laptop, and then that allows me to connect to the Castle Systems application. And then you go in there and I set all my settings, I update the software, make sure everything is good, I set my punch, all that stuff. And even with all that done, okay, I had several times where if I went from forward to reverse too quickly, it would hit the brake, but then when I went to go give it gas again, it wouldn't respond. I'd have to wait a second, let the car just sit, and then go back to the gas, and then it would respond again. Again, weird, because in the air I didn't have that problem. If I hit forward to reverse or brake or whatever in the air, it would respond. But if it was on the ground, it would like have this hesitation from one position to the other as far as throttle, brake, and reverse. So I don't know, man. You know, and I've said it before, I don't like to get into the weeds of the ESC and the motor tuning. I just want to mostly set my punch, set my brake, and that's about it. That's all I need. I don't need these ESCs to do anything special. I just need it to respond to my input and run well and last. That's it, you know? Because I'm not a speed runner. I just like to send it, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm not happy with the Castle Systems right now. That's just my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. Anyway, So yeah, it's got everything from M2C in it. I did break this plastic motor housing here, although the motor and everything else is still in place. I just think that this took an impact from this tower-to-tower brace and maybe cracked it here, but I don't think it actually affected the motor and the mesh or any of this surrounding stuff. I think it's still in place where it needs to be, which, by the way, I also want to note, I broke the center diff at one point. I'm trying to be quick because I know I talk a lot, but I broke the center diff gear, okay? You see in the video I broke the center diff gear. Now, I am convinced, and I believe, because I've broken that gear before, but this last time I broke it and I checked and I noticed that my motor had shifted. It wasn't a lot, but it had shifted. The mesh was slightly off from where it was before. Now, I believe that these motors will take this center diff gear will take 6S power all day until that motor shifts and the mesh goes out of mesh, and then you're done. I think 6S cars will take the mesh not being 100% right for longer, but I think that this gear setup, the center diff setup and the way it is, if the mesh is off even a little bit, it'll destroy that center diff gear right away. Now, the M2C motor plate, again, not because M2C is giving me anything, everything on this car I bought myself, but the M2C motor mount or motor plate has 2 bolts that are meant to bolt the motor to the plate. Those bolts have a larger head, and then they're a 3mm instead of a 2.5 or even a 2. Okay, so I think they know this because they give you special bolts in the kit, okay, that have a bigger head and have a bigger like the socket in it is a 3mm. So I think the way you make the center diff not break and last on 6S power is to 100% make sure that the bolts are tight and are clean of any debris, any oil, any grease, any manufacturer's residue from the manufacturing process, both the motor and the bolts. And then you Loctite those guys and you set your mesh, and then you let that thing sit for at least a day. Okay, let that Loctite cure completely, and then I guarantee you, or not guarantee you, because God forbid I make a guarantee, be crucified for it. But my point is that I was able to prove that first diff that broke, my mesh went out of mesh, and then I did another, and that was the first battery, and then I did 2 more batteries with more bashing on this one diff, and it didn't break. And I made sure that I was very meticulous about setting the mesh, making sure it has Loctite, making sure the bore and the bolt itself are clean. And I use alcohol swabs on some of the stuff. Some of the stuff I use brake clean, but if I can't get in a hole, I'll take an alcohol swab and I'll just squeeze it and put it in the hole so that all the alcohol goes in and kind of dries everything out. And then I use compressed air to blow it out. That way, your threads are clean and dry, your bolt is clean and dry, you put some, and then the other thing is if you look this up, Loctite has a video on YouTube on how to properly use Loctite. They don't want you putting the Loctite on the bolt. They want you to put the Loctite in the bore of what you're putting the bolt into, okay? So what I do is I take the actual Loctite and I put a couple of drops in the hole, and then I use my 1.5mm driver to kind of push the fluid in so that the fluid or the Loctite is kind of inside the bore of the threads, okay? Then I put my bolt in and tighten it up. That way the Loctite doesn't push its way out as you're trying to put the bolt in, because they were saying that when you put it on the bolt, when you put it in the bore, when you're fastening it, the Loctite will squeeze its way out of the hole as you're tightening it, and you're not getting any of the Loctite or that much Loctite inside the actual threads. And that again is a video that Loctite themselves put out. So that's not me claiming that's how it's supposed to work. That's them claiming, and I've been following that rule. I've been following that method, and I think it's been working. So, and the reason I know it's working is because when I go to take my bolts out, there's just a ton of freaking Loctite in the threads, which is a good thing. That's what it's supposed to do. So anyway, those are my little tips about that. Obviously this thing ran well. Obviously these things, it did amazing. Not happy with the castle systems, but you know, whatever, probably means absolutely nothing to anyone. So yeah, so stay tuned guys. I think after this will be Frankie, the backyard junkyard basher. which was inspired by my wife. And honestly, I'm more excited about that video than I have for any of my videos lately, because I think it's such an awesome build. It's done with minimal upgrades, and it was done with everything that I had as far as spare parts. And it kind of proves that you can get away with a lot if you just set the car up right, not necessarily buy all the upgrades. So stay tuned for that one. Until then, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll never be the guy that says like and subscribe, man. Like and subscribe. If you want to like and if you want to subscribe, you will. And I believe that. So thanks for the views, for you guys have been watching. Channel is ever growing, and I'm super appreciative of that. So stay tuned. We'll be back with some more pretty soon. All right, guys, keep on bashing.